8 minutes to 8, and it's been a month since Dubai instructed shops to start charging for single-use plastic bags. We're looking this morning at how it's gone, joined by Tom Harvey, the Commercial General Manager at Spinney's. Tom, feels like only about 5 minutes since we were discussing this.
It's just a month.
It is, exactly. We've just ticked over a month. I'm going to ask you how it's gone, with the caveat that Spinney's has been a little bit different than some other retailers in this, because you didn't just start charging for the single-use plastic bags. You've got rid of the ubiquitous yellow bag altogether and gone to paper. How smooth has the transition been?
The transition has been very smooth. So just to recap, there is now a minimum charge of 25 fils for a single-use plastic bag. What we did was take the plastic bags out, and as a temporary measure, we have paper bags. But our plan is still very much to eradicate all single-use bags from our stores. So we are in the middle of producing the new reusable bag that is made by D-Grade here in Dubai from plastic that has been collected in the UAE, and that will very soon hit the shelves and be the only bag that we have as an entry price point of 1 dirham. The transition that we've had into the move away from single-use bags has been incredibly positive, and I'm not aware of any grumbles from customers, although we do see a few things on social media talking more generally. But the reduction in the amount of single-use bags has been absolutely phenomenal. So within a month of this legislation coming in, the single-use bags that we are now selling has reduced by 90% from the volume that we were giving away before.
So does that mean that people are bringing their own bags, or they're buying the more, because you've got a couple of options and then the Waitrose options as well, the sort of the fancy schmancy totes. What are people doing?
So certainly a lot of people are bringing their own bags, and they have been buying the reusable bags. So as we saw, very similar pattern to what we saw with Abu Dhabi in the first couple of weeks of the rules changing, a massive spike in the sales of our reusable bags, and then that quickly peters off as people start to have them, and I think because of the way that law is structured so intelligently, it's very rapidly habit forming. So people buy the bags and they get used to having them in the back of the car, and very quickly people are just reusing the bags time and time and time again, and doing exactly what the law is intended to do in terms of making sure we're all playing our part and doing a better job for the environment.
What's the time frame then for you to move away from the paper bags you've got at the moment to those D-grade bags?
So the D-grade bags are being manufactured right now. It's taken us a little bit longer to make a couple of tweaks on the design than we wanted, but I expect to see those on the shelves of Spinney's and in our Waitrose stores as a Waitrose design later this month.
Is it a closed loop system that they're using plastic that's being recycled sort of at Spinney's, or is it general plastic from Dubai as a whole?
It's both. So we are recycling all of the plastic we have. We are working towards a zero to landfill plan, and I've got a lot of work going on doing more recycling of the plastic, but we don't want to restrict it to just that. All plastic needs to be recycled. So any recycled plastic that's going into D-grade from across the UAE could end up turning up in a Spinney's or a Waitrose bag.
And what about the very thin little bags we were discussing this morning in the produce section? Tom, particularly fond of them. What's the plan?
Yeah, we do still have them. They are not covered by the legislation at the moment. One of the things we have already done, because we would like to get rid of them, we already have options in all our stores where customers can take a free recycled brown paper bag to put their produce items into. We are also exploring where there are opportunities to have a recycled plastic bag for that. The tricky thing we've had, there are a lot where they claim to be compostable, but actually the nature of how they need to be composted is not something that actually makes them truly recyclable and good for the environment from everything we've seen. So that's still a work in progress. This is very much a journey that we're on. There's so many other things that are single-use items that we are now reviewing and seeing how we can eradicate them from the stores in future. But we're really pleased with the steps we've been able to take so far.
That's a really good point. How far can you take this in terms of pulling, for example, all the packaging that might might come around produce, a lot of which has its own natural packaging, for example.
Yeah, so with produce, a lot of what we sell is loose already, and we need to be careful about what we say we're packaging, because not all packaging is bad, not all plastic is bad. There are things that plastic has incredibly good structural capabilities to actually protect the fruit or give longer shelf life to meat. So we're not going to go to a complete eradication, because actually that would create a greater carbon footprint by having shorter shelf life on products. So it's about being intelligent and saying, where is it right to have plastic? Where is it not right to have plastic? There are many other single-use items, such as the cutlery that people will pick up when they are coming in and buying their lunch or their breakfast from us. And that is another area that we want to explore, those single-use items that the cartons that we have. But as you know, with the store we've opened in Leanne as our most eco-friendly store so far, we're already offering customers a discount on their bill if they bring in their own containers to have filled.
Before we let you go, super quickly, 1 minute left with you. The last time we spoke, you just hopped off a plane from Australia, sportingly come straight from the airport. You've got a few more planes to hop onto in the next few weeks. What kind of discussions are you having with suppliers at the moment about prices? 40 seconds, because this is the big topic, isn't it?
Big topic. It's not a lot different to what I said before. We're still having a lot of difficult conversations. I've said several times on the show over the last few months, we have seen inflation. We're not seeing the same level of inflation as we're seeing in other markets. And actually, when I look at the stats versus what the UAE is reporting, we're not seeing the same level of inflation as the UAE, which is something I'm very proud of in terms of what a great job the team is doing.
Well, you know the Spinney's inflation number.
It's not a number I'm going to share, but we see the numbers from Emirates MBD, and I'm able to benchmark it and say that we're doing a better job, and it's certainly a lot lower than what we're seeing in other markets. Which we've said before, things like the strength of the dollar is really helping us to protect on that.
Tom Harvey is the commercial general manager at Spinney's. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Dubai Eye 103.8.
Join the conversation.